Do the Jixia hi.
Hi! Oh my god, so irritating. Hi! Okay, so today we're gonna talk about stuff. And it's really anything that we've encountered or we've had in conversations, anyone can bring it up. So today I have something to bring up. Recently I was at a wedding and then someone was complaining that weddings are very, very expensive these days. And then at the table that I was at, there were a lot of different opinions. Some people say you should pay for your own wedding, some people say it's okay to take a loan, some people say your parents should pay for it. I want to hear what you guys think. My personal thought is, if you don't have money to get married, you ought not to get married. I really do think so. I mean, what's the rush, right? If you are like 25 and I'm so in love, I need to get married now. Seriously, why? Why can't you wait till you've saved money, 25, 28, maybe at 28 you have some money, you can get married then. I really don't understand why you would have to take money from your parents or you would even have to take a loan to get married unless there's a very, very, very urgent reason for you to get married. Thoughts?
I mean, I think it's multi-dimensional, right? It's not so straightforward because I think the first question is how much should you spend on a wedding?
Oh yeah, I mean that of course. Like people go a bit crazy. Like look, you can get married for as little as a few $100, maybe even $1,000, and you can spend like millions of dollars. I just have issue with people who want to spend a whole lot on a wedding that they can't afford, and then they're like, oh, but I need to get married now, so I need some money from my parents or from the bank or from someone. Put it very Singaporean, very top quad, and like just in very bad taste.
Irresponsible, right?
It's irresponsible and it's a bad habit.
But I do think that while it's related, it doesn't necessarily go hand in hand because some people may choose to spend too much on the wedding.
Yeah.
But then how they pay for it can be very different.
Okay.
And some couples may choose to spend within their means, but somehow there are two discussions. One is between the man and the lady, who spends what, who pays for what. And then there's also the notion that, I guess, I'm not sure if it's a Singapore thing, but taking some money or a loan or whatever it is from parents seems to be something that's quite commonly done as well. So I guess
maybe we go one by one then. Maybe we do gender. Okay, so man versus woman, who do you think should pay for the wedding?
Both.
Do you think it should be 50-50?
I think it should be both, but also to their own financial capability as well. Because like, okay, if we were to talk about our parents' era, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it is like based on tradition and also how much of it is like on their own means.
Okay.
Because like there's like dowry and all this kind of thing as well.
Oh,
so like in traditional sense, right, some parents do kind of pay for the wedding lah. But I think like we're really so modernized already, right?
Yeah.
Then if you want to have an elaborate wedding, go ahead. It's just, it doesn't have to be like at the moment, like now lor. Like getting married and having a wedding is like two separate things.
That's true.
No, but I think Liu raised a good point because that's something that we can't overlook. Because if tradition plays a big part, then clearly it's a bit difficult to determine male and female. But let's assume in what we're talking about that there isn't that kind of there are those factors.
Yeah.
So bottom line is what the couples are comfortable with, in my honest opinion. Now,
see, that's the problem. And we'll go back to the traditional bit in a second, but assuming that we're all modern couples, the guy feels like, hey, it's our wedding, you should pay half. But there are a lot of girls who feel that, but I'm a girl, you should pay for it all. And then that's the problem because one, if both halves of the couple feel like, okay, the guy pays for everything, then that's fine. Or both feel like, okay, it's split half, that's fine. The problem happens. How do you find what's correct if one person feels one way and the other person feels the other way?
But I don't think it's what's correct. It's at the end of the day, it is the most critical conversation to have before you get married, actually. Because I think
I agree.
Actually, that's true.
Right? Because if you can't agree,
do we have this conversation?
Do we? No.
Do you have the conversation with your husband?
Yeah, I had it.
Like before he proposed, or
I think it's along the way. Cause like, as you get to know each other and everything, you try to communicate, so you know like what are things that you want to spend on, or how you guys will split the bill. Basically, I think it really starts from like how you guys split the bill, like any kind of bill.
Do we have this conversation? Hello. Can I just say personal beef on this? So for our wedding, I said we picked these nice venues, let's just keep it simple. I'm very like, let's just not spend too much money, let's just keep it classy but no need to go overboard. But then some people that I got married to wanted like this crazy floral thing.
It must have been another wedding because that wasn't a wedding.
Have you seen our wedding photos? It was beautiful, but it was costly. And yeah, so I think I kind of left it because it was kind of understood that, hey, if you want to spend that much money on flowers and floral arrangements, sure. But I'm not down with that. And it was quite easy, right? We just left it.
So who paid for the flowers then? Then no need to complain already what?
Precisely, so I think that's his point.
Okay, but then it's not so simple because what if she had wanted to spend the amount on something else instead? And then I said no. And then she's like, well, then maybe why don't you take what you're spending on the flowers and spend on this instead?
See, you're so lucky to have married such an accommodating, simple bride. Correct?
Okay, so anyway.
I got married at 25. So young, right?
Yeah.
So I can be counted as more bochap. Ours we were quite like kalang kabut lah in a way because like we wanted to have like an ROM,
Yeah.
and then after that we wanted to get a wedding dinner lah, but not really because we wanted to. It's more for like the relatives,
Okay.
the friends. Like say okay, we do the ROM first.
Okay.
So it's just a buffet. So buffet very easy,
Yeah.
right? And it's like so much cheaper to
Yeah.
do it. And then we just, okay, maybe find a nice location to do it. And then we kind of got away as the years passed. People ask like, so when are you having your
Wait, so you never...
banquet and stuff
Wait,
like
wait, wait. So you never actually bothered to do the banquet? Come, I clap for you.
Thank you.
So the trick, Liu's tip is, just say you're doing an ROM first, do a really nice ROM,
Yeah.
and then just let the time pass.
Okay, but like friends watching this, please don't be offended if you were not invited to RM. We did really thought about like having a banquet after. But as time goes by, like
You're like, no need lah.
Yeah, cause like you already like married and sort of kind of married lah. So I really regret that like, friends that didn't manage to attend the RM. I'm really sorry. We are really sorry. Yeah, we just kind of like got lazy lah. But never mind lah, cause we got married already, and then like.
You're talking from a position perhaps that both the guy and the girl have equal means of paying. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's a
So
good
what
point.
about a situation whereby
Yeah, uneven,
yeah, right?
unequal,
And maybe to make it even more unique, it's whereby the lady is earning a lot more than the man.
Yes, I'm gonna say something that I think is gonna
No,
be
you
slightly controversial, but I just think the one who really wanted to get married should pay for the wedding.
But how do you determine who's the one that really
You
wants?
ask what? When you're in the course of dating, one party keeps saying, hey, when are we getting married? Should we get married? Should we get married? Should we get married? I think kind of like that person should pay because you're pushing for it, and if you're pushing for it, I'm assuming you have the means, you feel that you have the means to pay for it.
Okay, then let me give you a chance to redeem yourself because I don't want things.
Wow!
What in a situation where the girl is the one that keeps asking?
No, precisely.
So you're saying the girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about a situation where the guy and the girl has been in a relationship for 15 years
Okay.
and the guy has basically don't want to commit
Okay.
and basically, taking advantage of the situation. For example, I assume that most people at some point in time would like some form of security, right? How that is being shown is very dependent on the couple, of course.
Yeah.
But let's assume that in this particular case, the girl wants a form of security shown in a certain form of commitment, and she sees that as wanting to get married.
Okay. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you feel that getting married is so important to you, and after 15 years this guy hasn't proposed, what the hell are you still doing with him? You could have left. I mean, everyone has their time limit, right? Okay, so some people it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years. My point is, you need to know yourself in what you can deal with. And if you're just sitting there passively and complaining, oh my gosh, so long, and he still hasn't proposed, then you're also to blame for not taking matters into your own hands and just leaving the fella. I mean, he could have a lot of reasons for not wanting to get married, same as you could have a lot of reasons for wanting to get married. And if you're not aligned, then you could have left, I feel.
Fair enough. Okay. How about
Touche, thank you very much, thank you. So let's say I want to get married and I'm the first one to bring it up, right? So I bring it up and then I realize actually he wants to get married too and we both agree we both want to get married, then we can talk about who pays. But let's say I really want to get married, but he doesn't really want to get married. I keep going on and on and on. I think I should pay them.
Okay, so I get it because I think it's a very good solution because what
Yeah.
is going to end up is they don't get married and they both split because
Precisely.
the reality is then what you're doing is you're forcing the inevitable. You're what you're saying because
Yes, don't
the
waste
fact
time.
that if you're 15 years
Yeah.
and you're still not married, if you feel like that is a form of commitment.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people need to get married.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that then the obvious answer is perhaps you both shouldn't be together.
So okay, I'm gonna bring us back to the earlier topic. So we talked about man, woman versus like there's the dowry and all that, which is very Asian. But what if we take that out of context again? Do you think that parents should pay for the wedding? Because long ago, right, back in the day, people got married really young, and when you get married really young, you don't have that sort of means to pay. So I think the tradition then, correct me if I'm wrong, the parents will pay for the wedding. Whatever money collected from the wedding will go back to the parents. That's my understanding.
There's also like a sandwich generation where like I think our parents are a sandwich generation.
Okay.
In a way because like their parents probably been through like a war. So it's like economically everybody's
it's
like,
a bit
so like for like our parents' age, so probably they work to get their own wedding lah. So when it comes to our generation, we had it like a bit easier because like, you know, first of all, we are staying at our parents' house, right? We have like a place to go home to, and then like the household bills, like we have it kind of good. Like there's a lot of things or a lot of expenses that
we don't have to pay for.
I mean, I'm speaking for like maybe working class people.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the low income.
My thought on this like still remains what I said at the start. I feel like if you don't have the means to get married, you shouldn't get married till you have the means to get married. Which means you can propose, you can work towards it, but you guys should save money as a couple, pay for the wedding. Don't be a damn burden on your parents. This is my view. I want to hear what you guys think.
I agree with that. I just come from like a more sympathetic point of view.
Okay.
Because like I feel like in Singapore especially, like we have like a system. Right?
Okay.
So everything's about system.
The BTO.
So okay, don't even talk about BTO yet. We talk about like from school. So in school, right, there's progression, right? There's always progression in a stage of life. So it's like in primary school, then you like graduate or promoted to like secondary school, then you know your tertiary education and stuff, so on and so forth. So there's always a step. So when you see like a group of friends all growing up together, start to have like a lot of couples on like your social media, and then after that you start to have like once you have one proposal.
I hate that, by the way.
Once you have one proposal, and then you will start to see a lot of proposals already. So you know that's around the time. So after that, you see the proposal already, right? You kind of will start seeing like wedding photos they want to take, you know, in like elaborate places or
Which
what.
is fine if you can afford
if
it.
you can afford it, it's definitely fine. So like there's all these expectations or like all these like pressure from your peers. So it's like you checking off the list of like, you know, what is gonna happen.
I think I can understand why people might want that, right?
Of course, I understand why you want that.
And maybe it's not so simple. And yes, okay, my own personal opinion is obviously from a very young age, I always wanted to be financially independent. From anything, from my parents, from anyone, from anything, right? And that's always been my goal since young. And so for me, the answer is very clear cut, right? Anything that does not allow me to be financially independent, I don't really like to get myself into that situation. However, having said that, I can understand how various factors come into play. For example, as both of you mentioned, society, right? The fact that you feel the need to at least be on par, if not.
Actually,
not
I think that is.
better.
I mean, honestly, I understand it. I don't agree with it.
No, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it, right?
I
But
understand
that's the
it.
reality of what it is. Now, I also understand that people may say, well, when we say you can wait till you can afford to get wedding, there are a few things here that makes it difficult. Number one is affording a marriage or wedding is very subjective. People have different dreams, because then it goes to my second point is most people go into marriages thinking that they will only get married once, which should be the case in any way. But the fact of the matter, then you throw on the fact that if people do want kids, okay, then there's a certain timeline that they think that they have to go. Now, I say think because to some extent it's true, but to some extent it's also not necessarily always true. Because if you are, for example, 23 years old, and if someone 23 years old tells me, a lady, that they have very limited time, then I would I would say, well, I don't really think so. But if a lady that's 30, 32 and says, I don't really have much time left, then I can kind of understand that aspect. So it's very difficult to say that, oh, why don't you wait till you can afford it to get married? Because I think it's not so simple.
Okay, how about why don't you wait till you can afford it to get the wedding that you want?
Again, it's not so simple.
No, it is, because look, if you were willing to do a simple wedding, like for my example, my brother had a simple wedding because he just doesn't like all the drama. I think they decided they just didn't want to spend this sort of money. Then just do a simple wedding. It's about two of you and like your loved ones, and you know your loved ones don't care if like you have really lavish flower arrangements from floor to ceiling.
Wow.
It was very nice though. But you know, it is the couple who wants to do this whole lavish, showy thing, which is fine if you can afford it. I just think that spending the sort of money that you don't have and taking it from your parents, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Because the reality is, the intention is to pay back. Okay, maybe I hope so. Okay,
I don't know. I'm not heard of people who pay back.
Or maybe the agreement is okay. I put a certain amount, but certain amount or percentage of the ang pao money goes back to the parents. Like I don't know what the arrangement is, but I think fundamentally the important question is whoever takes money from your parents has to ask, how important is this sum of money to my parents? Because it's not so simple. For example, right, our parents I think have this belief and habit whereby the kids take care of the parents.
Yes.
Now, in our generation and future generation, I'm not sure how common that's going to be.
Wait, let me just cut you off over there, because like for my parents, right, they don't even, okay, my mom told me very, very honestly, she's like, I don't even expect you guys to take care of us.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so she's like, as long as you all are self-sufficient, like back to the part when I mentioned that they are the sandwich generation, right?
Yeah.
They are the most self-sufficient generation ever, and they have to take care of their parents.
Yeah.
But they are giving us, you know, so because they've been through all that, they don't want us to go through that as well. Then they will try their best to provide as much as they can.
But okay, I think we're missing the point, guys. Okay, we're really missing the point. Right, I feel that you missed the point when you say like whether our parents have the means to or not. I actually think that's not the point. I just find the whole affair to be a very selfish and self-centered way of doing things.
My view is I will not take the money and I will not ask my parents for the money. But that's because, like I said, for me, it's a different reason. It's because I don't want to be financially dependent on anybody. For example, okay, if your parents, without even you asking, your parents say, look, I really want to give you this amount because I've saved that aside for many years and it's for your wedding, right? Now, if I don't give it to you for your wedding, I'm just going to keep it in the savings account for whatever you want anyway in the future. So that money is yours, right? So all I'm saying is, even in that situation, and if you don't have the same feeling as I do about financial independence, then I do think there's one more level where you have to think, okay, well, I know technically that money is set aside, but the reality is this, and what I hear as friends is, how many of us actually know how much our parents actually have set aside? And knowing our parents, if they really need the money, they will not come to us too and say, hey, I know I set that money aside for you, but you know what, I'm going to take it back. Because it's just not in their culture or not in their thinking to do that, and they rather suffer and they rather do that. So that's why I say it's very important that, yes, you know, we can talk about all of this, but it's quite unique to whatever situation. And I think it's our responsibility to think.
Okay, I think we are focusing too much on like the taking money from parents. That's why there's this debate going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, generally, like even taking a loan, like taking a loan for the wedding, I think that's like a big thing. Instantly you get what you want, and then like, okay lor, I slowly pay back lah, in a way.
Yeah, so it's this sort of culture of like
installment
spending beyond your means. I think that maybe I'm like very conservative financially, but I just feel like you ought not to spend beyond your means.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all married, of course, for different periods of time. Those who are married will know that the wedding is probably the starting of
everything
of a lot of spending.
A lot of money!
If you're going to get kids, it's going to even increase that. And
then you have the house. You have the house.
Yeah, you have the house. And then, you know, if you somehow feel you need a car, etc., etc., like the wedding is the least of what you're going to spend. Getting married and living together as a married couple is on its own not so easy, right? It's very difficult. It's a constant work. And if you have a big debt to begin with, I just can't see how that makes life any easier.
Yeah. I think that's a good end. Yeah. Now we sound like a bunch of 3 old farts who are married who's giving like marriage advice. Keep it simple, guys. And you know, I think we got quite heated and quite passionate here, so don't mind any of our views. If you have thoughts on the matter, drop us a line in the comment box below. Let us know who you think should pay for the wedding, guy or girl. Should your parents help out? Should you take a loan? How much should you even spend on a wedding? We didn't even get to that. Let us know if you hate any of us. Also let us know in the comment box down below.
And whether like, you know, just to have the RM first and then like forget about the banquet is a good idea.
That one I forget.